Swamp Thing number 27, written by Charles Soule, art by Jesus Saiz. So last issue was Jason Woodrue trying to prove himself as the new Avatar and going a little bit murder happy. He proves to himself, or he proves to the Green, I should say, the Parliament, that he's not exactly capable of going up against other avatars, but he kills a bunch of, logging people, and their rivers run red with their blood. So we open up this issue with Swamp Thing talking to the wolf in the Green, and he's basically like, dude, he's killing a bunch of people up there. That's on me. The whole reason he's Avatar is because I didn't take that final action I needed to and, kill him. And you got to help me, get up there. And Wolf is basically like, dude, what do you want? This place is a paradise. There's no way for you to get back. There's nothing we can do about that. Whatever the Avatar does, that's not on you anymore. Just put it away. You are now part of the Green. And he's just like, no, I have to get out of here. That is absolutely something that needs to happen. And he's just like, okay, let's just try to view the positives here. And the wolf leads him over to a fountain and says, even if you could go back, he's the Avatar now. He has full power of the Green. If you went back, you would just be like a tree. That's all you would be. You would not have any access to the rest of the Greens. So and also it's impossible to go back. So either way, no. So just let's take a look at the things you can do here in the Green. And he walks over to a fountain and he springs up a green version of Abby Arcane that talks to him. And he's just like, what? Huh? You can make Abby? And he's like, yeah. Or we introduced another female lead recently. Maybe you'd have more fun with her. And he springs up a green version of Capucine as well. And Swamp Thing's like, okay, don't just make a bunch of women to try to, keep me here. That's gross. You're gross, man. And he's like, all right, fine. Let me give you something you might actually enjoy if you're so worried about this. And he makes an apple and he says, here is I've imbued it with, sedative properties. You eat this, you'll go to sleep, you'll dream of all the happy, fun things that you could have done. And when you wake up, Jason Woodrue will have been Avatar, decades, hundreds of years ago. It's not something you need to worry about. You are now in the eternalness of the Green. So maybe that's better. And Swamp Thing just crushes the apple and says, nope, please, I gotta get out of here. And Wolf's like, I don't know. Seriously, you think that I'm this all-knowing guy here. There is no way, as far as I know, to get out of here because that's not something I want to do. However, there is somebody, one other person, who does want to leave the Green probably as much as you do. And it's someone we've already met. And we go over to, what's her name? The woman with the Lady Weeds. That's it. The one who trained Swamp Thing in how to be more than just his body. And he's just like, hey, I saw your fight against Woodrue. You just couldn't pull that trigger, could you? Though I am happy you learned my lessons. And he's like, yeah, totally. Maybe you could teach me one more thing. And she's like, do you have any more animals from the red for me to use? Because I've kind of killed all the ones around here. He's like, no. She's like, well, then I'm not going to teach you anything. And he's like, all right, fine. Well, maybe you could just give me some information then. And he says, how do I get out of the Green? And she says, kill yourself. And he's like, okay, haha, funny, but I need to get back to Earth, kind of get out of the Green. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I have had some ideas about that, but there is a chance, if we go through this plan, you will risk permanent death. Not you wake back up in the Green thing. No, you dead, you gone. And he's just like, I'm in. Tell me what it is. Tell me what's up. And she says, all right, we know there is a place in the Green that touches the Earth. All we got to do is go there. And so they teleport over to where the Parliament of Trees is. And we see from the Green side, it's just a bunch of old avatars, psychically linked up into the real world. And just oh, hey, I never even considered them being down here. And so Swamp Thing's like, all right, so what, I need to be elected into the Parliament of Trees? That's it? And she's just like, no. They hold elections once every couple thousand years. They like their power and they're going to keep it. So no, they're not going to get you elected, especially because everyone knows that you're a weakling who couldn't kill Jason Woodrue. So no, we're going to take a much more direct option. And she sprouts some swords from her hands, cuts the psychic links of all of the avatars to the real world and says, all right, so here's the plan. They're about to wake up. And I've sealed off the grove. I've sealed off all this area from the rest of the Green. So we just have to fight our way through and kill them and they won't be able to regenerate because they don't have access to the green anymore. And then we can go through and take their place in the portal. Because I also want out because I'm just bored here. This place sucks. I want to go back up there. So at that point, Swamp Thing's like, I'm sorry, and you didn't decide to tell me the plan before you cut their things? Because now we're, like, I'm just running into this whether I want it or not. So at that point, the other avatars wake up. One of them is a dinosaur, by the way. Just want to make that clear. And the fight starts. And like she said, the powers are just how much strength they have on their own and whatever weapons they brought in with them. So a bunch of fists, though some of them do have swords. And of course, there's a dinosaur. So the fight goes on. Swamp Thing punches a few of them through the head. One of them slices Lady Weeds in half, but she's still alive, quote unquote. So that one comes over after Alec. He tries to use a sword on him and says, like, oh, you're just a weakling. I know you're a weakling. And then Swamp Thing guts him through the chest with his own sword and says, no, I decide what I am. So he starts sprouting a tree up into the portal to the real world. And Lady Weeds is like, wait, what about me? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to seal off the portal behind me because you're too much of a wild card to be up there on your own, Lady Weeds. I'm sorry. I just can't. And so she starts freaking out at him. And Alec comes out in the grove where the Parliament of Trees is. All of the other trees are brown and wilted because, of course, they are. And as he comes out, he's like, yes, it works. I'm here. But, oh, wait, I'm just a tree. I'm not an avatar of the green. I don't have my, like, powers or anything. I'm literally just a tree. And I can feel Lady Weeds on the other side trying to pull me back. So I need to get the power back now. So he calls out to Jason Woodrue, who is sitting on a throne of slain animals. And he's like, Woodrue, the Parliament needs your help. Get over here now. And so Woodrue flies over and he's like, oh, geez, what happened? And he's like, oh, it was Alec Holland. He killed the entire Parliament. I'm the only one that's left. And Woodrue's like, but wait, I killed Alec. He's in the green. He's dead. He's with you. And then all of a sudden it clicks and he's like, oh, wait, you're Alec. And he's like, yeah, I am. So Swamp Thing reaches out. He stabs Woodrue through the chest and then all of a sudden remembers like, oh crap, wait, he's a human. He's got a human body. It's just got like a leafy exterior, but under it all, like I just severed his spine. Okay, I can fix that later. No, I gotta make this work. So he gets the power temporarily back from Woodrue. We cut over to a boy just walking along the ocean with his dog, and all of a sudden the oceans turn green. And Swamp Thing's narration is, okay, I have caused all of the algae on Earth to go into like super bloom. It inhales great huge amounts of carbon dioxide, putting huge amounts of oxygen into the air. It makes all of the red and human life just go dizzy. I've upset the balance. I put the green in top form, and I could easily wipe out the red right now if I wanted to. Make me your avatar again. I want it. I'm willing to fight for it. Give it to me. And the Parliament that's left is like, okay, yeah, you're doing pretty cool. So they give Swamp Thing back, Alec Holland back the abilities of Swamp Thing. Jason Woodrue is drained of his power, and he's dying. So Swamp Thing's like, look, I'm sorry, this had to happen. I'm giving you what you want, though. I'm going to send you into an afterlife of the green. You'll be one with the green, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry this had to play out this way. So he drowns Jason until he becomes part of the green. And then we see Alec doing his final thing where he's like, now that I've been on the other side, I see fully how it works. And I can now put together that the Parliament has the power to end the Avatar, but the Avatar has the power to end the Parliament as well. So he sends down his seeds and he basically destroys the entire Parliament. And he sends them into their like dormant phase, so that way they're never going to bother him again. And he wakes up and we see the leftover bodies of what once were the Parliament of Trees, and he says, now I am Avatar of the Green. And that's it. Alec Holland has taken control. I liked it. I think it was a bit fast of a wrap up. I think that it was it maybe could have been padded out a little bit more there, but he had a plan, he ran with it, and he just did whatever he had to do there. So I enjoyed it. I think it was a solid arc overall. I'd say it's probably I'd give this one an 8. I think it's a very well done issue. Like I said, maybe just a bit too rushed at times, but overall, super solid throughout.